Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Milpark Business School information session. My name is Michaela Thomas, and I'm from the marketing department, and I'm here to just make sure everything goes smoothly and to just show you a few of the features we have here on Crowdcast to go through a bit of the house rules. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see there is a chat box. Say hello, say hi, tell us where you're beaming in from and where you are on this rather chilly in Cape Town. 1st of July, Thursday morning. At the bottom of your screen, we do have a poll running and an ask a question facility. So if you would like us to contact you further, if you have any other questions with regards to the program, if you just want to say hi, pop a yes in the poll and we will get in contact with you. We also have, as I said, the ask a question facility. So if you want to ask Jane or Cobus or myself or our lovely alumni who's going to be speaking during the session, any questions, pop them there as well in the chat as well. I will note everything and we will go forward. For the moment, guys, we also have a Mentimeter poll running. I'll say a Mentimeter poll, it's more of a slide. I'm going to focus on it quickly. And we've asked the audience a lovely question this morning. What leadership skills do you think MBA graduates need to be a force for good for South Africa in 2021? A fantastic question starting. So if you go to www.menti.com and use the code as at the top of the screen, so the code is 35343592. I'll put that in the chat as we go on as well, but go there, have a look. Give us your thoughts. What skills do you think MBA graduates need? And we'll have a great chat, or Jane and Cobus will have a great chat through the answers we receive throughout the session. But for now, I'm going to hide away and hand over to Jane and Cobus to start us off on this, as I said, rather chilly July morning. Over to you, Jane and Cobus.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you very much for introducing what questions we're going to be discussing today. And welcome to everybody who is with us this morning. And I know that Michaela says it's chilly in Cape Town, so I'm sorry for you, but it's actually very nice, fairly warm in Johannesburg, and sunny and bright, so we are quite lucky with that. And it's always interesting to me how we always focus on the weather. So, but welcome everybody. Thank you for your time, and I'm hoping that you're going to be answering that Mentimeter so we can have a lovely chat later on. And I'm going to hand over to Cobus now to give us an idea of what we stand for as Milpark, what is our reason for being, and give you a little bit of information to think about and to see if that resonates with you, and perhaps your journey, your learning journey with us, if this resonates. So over to you, Cobus.
Jane, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Really a wonderful opportunity to welcome you to our virtual information session, and we really appreciate you taking out the time out of your schedule to join us this morning. But let me get the conversation going by giving you a snapshot of who we are and what it is that we stand for. So we've been around for more than 20 years with a national footprint in South Africa, 2 teaching campuses, one in Claremont in Cape Town, and Melville, Johannesburg, which is also the Contact campus. And our offerings being, starting from the NQF level 10, the Doctor of Business Administration, and then of course our crown jewel, the MBA. We also have 4 different postgraduate diplomas, one in a business administration, one in public administration, another in investment management, and another one in banking. And of course, like any business school worth its salt, we've got executive education, short courses, and of course, very involved in consulting as well. We really believe we provide quality scholarship in response to Management Education 4.0 and the world of work, and that we are a key contributor to ethical and sustainable business practices informed by the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, as you know them. And our mission subsequently, in other words, our reason for being, is merely to develop ethical leaders for the common good. That is it. That's why we exist. That's why the team gets up in the morning, to develop ethical leaders for the common good. And friends, this mission is firmly rooted in our values of integrity, respect, excellence, and innovation. So in sum, ethical and sustainable business practices are at the heart of our teaching and research philosophy, and hence we empower future leaders to pursue ethical and sustainable business practices informed by the SDGs. And this reason for being is built on the ancient Greek word of phronesis, and I invite you to go and Google the word phronesis, which translated into English is practical wisdom, emphasizing not only the development of great business leaders, but leadership for the common good. We are very proud of our students' achievements in a variety of sectors and believe it reflects the impact we make as a business school. And even the most recent PMR Africa National Employer Survey of business schools offering MBA degrees reflects this, where we were rated third overall in the rankings for 2021. We're also very proud of being the only business school in Africa with the AMBER accredited online MBA. So something that we're very proud of. So friends, really welcome again. That's just a snapshot, and I trust that you will find the session informative and inspirational as well. Thank you so much, Jane, and back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kobus. So we have a fairly small team who is full-time faculty in the business school, and I've put the pictures up of the full-time team, and we rely on our adjunct faculty who do the lecturing. They're subject matter experts as well as academics, so where we try and make sure that there's a nice mix between the academia. So on the MBA, we want people need to be experts in their fields, to have a doctoral degree to where possible. We look for that, but they definitely need to bring that work experience into the classrooms and into the assessments, so that everything that you do is immediately based in a practical work environment that you can use it there and then. So we're not looking for theories that are not going to help you as an MBA student or postgraduate student to make a difference there and then for your company in your work and to make you more effective. So our team members, you can see Kobus there. We've got Dr. Frikkie Herbst, who's our head of research. We've got Stanton, who's our senior lecturer in banking. Evelyn is our program manager on the distance learning side. We've got Nazmira, who's now, she's moved into an academic role. So people do move around, and all these spaces that you would get to know. We've got support staff in Masifaka, Mpumi, Wanga. They would help you where if there's an issue when you're uploading assignments or you just need a bit of help, they help you. We've got a new senior lecturer, Jamila, as well. She is our senior lecturer in the postgraduate diploma of investment management. Andres Fourie is our head of department in executive education. So he really works a lot with organizations and designing bespoke solutions with the organizations to make sure that what they are learning is practicable and they can work straight away with that. So we've got all of our team here. And then, as I said, we rely a lot on our adjunct faculty, many of whom have walked a long journey with us and add value on a daily basis. They connect with you on a academic level as well as a personal level and help guide you through and inspire you in your learning and in your learning journey. And they're there to ask questions and really support you through that. So while we've only got our full-time faculty team here, I think we need to have another slide where you can see some of our adjunct faculty lecturers and supervisors. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, why this program. What is unique about it? Why are we quite proud of it? And why do we think it's a good value proposition for somebody who wants to learn more, to become more effective, and to do what gives you the tools to do whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's to do something in a corporate, to start your own business. That is what we're here for. So with our 2 qualifications in the postgraduate diploma in business administration and the MBA, you can move in with a postgraduate and then you move on to the MBA. So you really get 2 postgraduate qualifications in 3 years, because there are a certain number of modules that you do on the postgrad that are overlap with the MBA, and that moves you into the MBA. So it gets you on your learning journey quite quickly. We feel from our curriculum design and the subjects you do and how it's integrated that you would make a positive contribution to society. And that I think we can understand or realize at the moment, especially, it's a very, very important thing in our world at the moment, to be a positive contribution, not to just take, and to show how you can make a difference in society. And that's one of the things that we look for in students coming in, and especially the graduates who move out. And we'll chat to Nonjabola a bit later when she tells us about her experiences. Then again, as I've said, immediate application at work. You need to be showing your employer, if they're sponsoring you or if they're just supporting you, that what you are learning is going to make a difference in their business, and that you become great at your job, and then you can move up. We also have an integrated curriculum. So we have technical skills, but the soft skills, or what I like to call the power skills, are also embedded within the modules and your journey, because this is not an easy journey. And I'll say it straight up. It is not an easy program to do. You have to be a master of a wide variety of disciplines, and therein lies the challenge. It's not just one specific thing. It goes from finance to people management and to leadership, and you need to be a master in each of those areas. But the soft skills that come through that are things such as emotional intelligence, coaching each other, coaching your peers, working with them, relationship management, project management. You need to manage yourself as a project, your teamwork and team dynamics. You work in groups and teams at work, and you're going to be doing it in the MBA as well. So how are you going to manage that? And it's very interesting to see how well students can actually manage when you thrust into different groups. How do you do that? We also feel that there's quality scholarship that responds to what management is requiring at the time, and you need to move and come up with creative, innovative ideas. And the quality of scholarship means to us that you understand the theories, you question the theories, you critique them, and then you add value. And where we also say we encourage you to use your own voice based on theory, we need to know that you understand things and that it's your voice. It's not just parroting a theory that means nothing. So what is your opinion about that based on the theories? And so that's what we develop within you, is that you start analyzing and really critically analyzing what it is that you are reading. And that hopefully will transfer to your everyday life, is when you're watching a news broadcast. Oh, does it really make sense to you? Or can you see some flaws? Or if you're reading an article online, does that resonate? Or can you pull some holes in? Does it hold water for you? And so that's what we want you to be able to do, is to really dig deep and to question things and not just accept whatever is put in front of you, because we need to start questioning all sorts of things and continue to question that. You will also have complex issues that you need to be able to analyze. And I think you can again see it in what has happened from 2020 and the whole COVID pandemic. And there are complex issues at play here. So how do you understand those and then find other alternatives and make the best plan possible? And that's what you would be expected to do on an ongoing basis throughout your qualification. We also ensure We look at local, national, and global issues because those are all important in our lives. And how does this relate to 4IR plus the Sustainable Development Goals? So those are the underlying things. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. We are here. And I think it's been exacerbated with remote working, remote learning. So how do we deal with that, and how do we get ourselves kind of updated or to understand how to make use of 4IR technologies, and how do we work with that and not be afraid of it. We want you to be creative, develop imaginative solutions, but that are credible, not just, oh, I like this, but it needs to be workable. So how we have the creativity, and then your kind of logical, rational, how is this going to be implemented? Because if you've got something wild that can't be implemented, that's not going to fly. We want you to contribute to the development and implementation of your responsibility as an individual to your business, your community, and society, as well as what the businesses need to do towards our community environment. So the more you take responsibility, so it translates into your business, and you can make a difference there. And we have specific modules that enable you to do that and to look at the impact that you can make. And that is the exciting thing, when you actually see the impact that you make on a specific community. And we can talk a bit more about that later, or when you have if you want to find out more about what it is that we do there. We also, because this is a learning journey, you're going to change from coming in, whether it's the postgrads or the MBA. Your personal development is important, because you should not be the same person when you exit the programs as when you began. And that's what we're wanting, to promote your development in a personal, interpersonal, and then your professional skills, so that you can be more successful in each of these realms. You have close support from your lecturers, faculty, and the team that I showed you earlier. So your lecturers are on your side. They want you to do well. They want you to prepare before you come to lectures, so that you can really interact and get the best out of those sessions that you're going to be joining. And then your peers. Your peers are a source of motivation, are a source of bouncing ideas off. On one hand, they're in a way your competitors. On the other hand, they're the ones that are going to really pull you through, because they're going to be awake at 12 o'clock at night while doing assignments. And when you just don't want to do it, or 4 o'clock in the morning to say, when you're doing your dissertation, oh, I can't do this anymore. They're the ones who are probably also going to be awake and respond to a WhatsApp message. Whereas, your lecturers may not be, or your supervisor may not be. So we feel that the program is unique. It is based on ensuring that our graduates emerge as different people to a certain extent, that you are authentic, responsible leaders, and ethical leaders, because that is what we really aspire to. And it happens on a yearly basis, where we see that the change in our graduates. So that is why we think that this is a phenomenal program that we have, and look forward to working with you on this. Just something else to take note of. Studying it's a long-term kind of goal and objective. We do have, and we have put in place, funding and payments that can happen. Capitec has come to the party with us. So to help you with your education and to secure your future, they will help you with credit, so that you can kickstart your success, and there are numbers there that you can dial, or Noni can also help you with that, so that you can move forward. So you're not stuck and keep thinking, well, I need to wait. There is an opportunity here, and you need to grab the opportunity as soon as you can. Really, I mean, and the more you wait, I think then it just moves away from you, and you're never going to be perhaps ready to do an MBA or to start studying on a postgraduate level, but you've got to just start. So before we even go on to that, I'm going to ask if Nanjabula can be brought up so you can see her, so we can have a chat. And
Hi.
Yay, you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Thank goodness. We were getting technology is wonderful, and then not.
Of course. Thanks, Dr. Asha. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. Hi, everyone. From you, tell me, why did you choose Milpark? Why us?
Well, I think it's important, because in every decision you make in life, you need to do your research. Think about it this way. If you need to buy a car, you do extensive research in terms of the kind of car you want to buy and does it meet all your criteria. So I did my research when it comes to Milpark. And one thing that grabbed my attention is that they were accredited by AMBA. I think in 2016, it was a big thing. It was the first in SA. And because I'm also working, I needed an institution that will be able to be flexible to my time, because I don't have the luxury to actually go and study 2 years full time. So that was another thing that I needed to take into consideration, that I needed to get this qualification also, not just to get the qualification as a tick box, but to make sure that it is a qualification worth having and it's going to be recognized even if I step out of South Africa. So those were the kind of things that I needed to actually make sure that this qualification actually caters for in terms of my needs. And that's what Milpark gave me. Well, I think I actually enjoyed the journey I had with the postgrad when I did my honors with them. And then when I actually did the research further regarding the MBA, I said, why not? So that's why I actually picked Milpark, because these are the kind of things that you need to check before you make this decision, because it's a hell of a lot of money to actually pay.
Yeah, and it is, and it's grueling. So you've got all this, besides the money side, it's the time and the effort that you've put in, and it's a long journey. But tell me, did it go slowly or
no? 2 years goes by so quickly. And I like what you were saying, Dr. Asha, regarding the soft skills, because I think a lot of us, we forget to actually look at the experience holistically. Sometimes you get into a situation and it's because it's education, you're just looking out to get the technical skills and critical skills that you need for that particular job that you're gunning for, or the business that you're trying to actually start. But what I liked about the MBA is that I've noticed that I've changed as a person. Like you said, I've always been under the illusion that I'm a patient person until I did group work. And group work will change your life, I swear to God, because that was an experience and a half for me. Like you were saying, Dr. Asha, you get to be grouped with different people, and I'm an organized person. I'm the kind of student who would be organized in a sense that a week before classes start, my timetable will be on the wall. I would have a plan in terms of how am I spending the next 6 months, every hour, every Saturday. If it's not on the calendar, honey, I do not have time for you. That is just how I was. So you would find that people would come in and be like, you know what, it's okay, it's a group assignment. Nonjabulo, chill. This is only during 2 weeks. Calm down. We still have other things. We've got this going on. And you need to actually accommodate, because not everybody works the way you work. So I think what it taught me about my soft skills is patience. I am a patient. I'm now that person who does not even hoot when a person does not, start their engine 5 seconds after the lights or the traffic light turns green. That's how patient I am now, thanks to group work and thanks to the MBA program. And learning to work with people, it also actually teaches you, because I'm currently in the role I'm in. I'm actually not managing anyone in the position that I'm in currently, but it was a new experience for me. And when I started the MBA, I was 28, I'm 30 now. And in certain situations, I was the youngest in the group. And you need to be able to actually work with different people. I don't have any kids, I'm not married. And you need to be understanding to other people's situations. So those are all the challenges that you actually need to be prepared for, to be honest with you all, that you need to be understanding and you need to be prepared because life happens. But you know what? I was smiling at the end of the day because when COVID hit and everyone was still getting used to being online and doing things online, on our side with Milpark, I've already become a master, because I've been with them in this journey since the post-grad, which was in 2018. So now when everything was moved online, a lot of institutions needed to adapt. And I feel that Milpark was already ahead of the curve. So it actually benefited me because my studies were never interrupted because I was still able to continue the way I was. My supervisor and I were able to actually still connect. Even if I'm emailing her at 1 a.m, she will be responding immediately when she gets a chance. But, I feel that those are all the kind of things you need to consider when you're making this decision. But trust me, when you make this decision, it's the best decision you'd ever make, going and doing your MBA with Milpark. It's money well spent.
Oh, that's great to hear. So moving on to that, so what kind of other skills do you think you got out of the MBA?
Well, I mean, as an employee in the current institution I work in, I've always tried to be a solution finder. When I encounter a problem, I'd like to actually try and address the problem with a solution at hand. So the thing with the Milpark's MBA, the structure of the coursework, it's not only theoretical, but it's also practical. And it actually equips you with practical skills and critical thinking skills, which is important because as much as you look at a situation, it actually teaches you to actually try and engage the work. Because I know a lot of the lecturers, I had this one assignment we were doing in ethics. And the assignment was we needed to write a 9-page essay. Yes, 9 pages as total. So your references included, your introduction, your body, everything must be 9 pages. And that was a bit of a challenge. And what the lecturer said during the introductory lecture that she was actually giving us in terms of giving us an overview of the requirements of the assignment was that the reason why she wanted us to have the strict 9-page assignment is to teach us to be those kind of leaders that you don't walk into a boardroom or any situation with a booklet. You don't have to say what you need to say by using a whole lot of words. You need to be able to compose yourself, structure yourself in a certain manner, and be able to get your point across as seemingly and as quickly as possible. And that was a struggle. I will not lie to you. That was a struggle, but it taught me a valuable skill because now even when I address the team I'm working with or I address anyone, be it in an email, you will not find me typing out an essay in an email or trying to actually address people in 2 hours. I can get my message across as quickly and shortly as possible. And those are the kind of skills that you learn when you're doing your MBA. And my advice to everyone would be come in as a blank canvas, be able to experience and be willing to take each challenge as an opportunity to see how you can better yourself and how you can learn to better someone else in that situation.
Oh, that's great. That is great. So other than just moving on, so so you planned yourself, and I think that's amazing because you do need to plan and plan and plan and plan again. But yes. What other support structures did you put in place to make sure that you were successful? And was there any instances that you needed, say, Milpark support? How did that work?
Well, it's important. I know when I registered for the course in 2018, when in 2019 they had a similar a similar opportunity for us to actually have an engagement with one of the alumni who actually give advice. And that gentleman said, it's important to communicate with your family. And that is very true. We take it for granted, but it's so true. Communicate with your family, communicate with all your loved ones. And if you are working, make sure that you communicate with your employer, because it's going to be a rough 2 years. I experienced challenges personally in terms of my health in 2019. And I was actually advised by my doctor that, you know what, Nonjabulo, the way your health is looking, maybe it's best to take a break from the studies a bit, and then we just focus on your health. And it was an engagement I had to have with my employer to say, you know what, I need to get some time off. And I spoke to my lecturers because I needed to make them understand. I remember it was, what was it? It was for a leadership assignment. And the prof was actually, when he marked my paper, I barely passed the paper, and he was like, Nonjabulo, I'm so disappointed because you've done so well. I've seen how well you've been doing. And I told him, and I was like, you know what, to be quite honest with you, Prof, I'm actually going through the most. This is currently what my health situation is like. But I did not want to quit because I'm not a quitter. I'm a resilient person, which is another thing I learned about myself when I was doing this journey for the past 2 years, is that I'm resilient. So I said to the prof, you know what, Prof, I'm sorry I disappointed you. I will do better, you know, in the exam and so forth. But currently this is what I'm faced with. And right now I'm just happy I passed. But, you know, so I like the support that you also get from the lecturers. And that was another thing that he said. He said, and why didn't you say anything, Nonjabulo? Because we could have made arrangements for you. We could have actually get an extension. I was like, yes, I know. But, you know, I'm always that person who wants to do things on time. I didn't want to, you know, try and delay things. I wanted to get it sorted out and done because I had prepared myself to do it a certain way. But that is another nice thing. There is that support in Milpark, is that if you were faced with a situation, you can open up to the lecturers and they'll be able to, and the administrators, they will be able to guide and assist you in that particular challenge. And having your family support you and your employer know what is currently happening in your life in the next 2 years is very important.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a definite thing. I mean, and did you find you needed an ongoing chat with loved ones and family? You know, because they think, oh, okay, it's fine for the first 6 months, it's all good. And then it's like, we haven't seen you for so long, you know. Where
I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Asha, because that was a conversation I had to have with my families, because I'm the youngest of 4 girls at home. And being the youngest, the disadvantages sometimes is that people are always trying to tell you how to do things and when and how. So it was a family meeting that was held in my honor, you know, because there was a discussion that had to be had because Nonjabulo is just MIA. But because I had mommy on my corner, she was able to say, hey guys, but Nonjabulo communicated. She is not available. You know, do not get mad or angry if she can't attend your birthday party, because this is what is happening in her life. We need to support her. So I'm glad that, you know, I had someone to back me up, because trust me, your family will understand, like Dr. Ashe say, for the first 6 months, you know, the reality has not kicked in. And for my sister, the reality only kicked in when I visited her and I was able to stay at her house, I think last year, April, when COVID hit. My mom was like, you know what, I don't want you staying alone currently. Let's just move to your sister's and just be with her. When she saw that I sleep 5 hours a day and I get 20 hours of sleep in a space of 5 days, then she realized, like, okay, respect Nonjabulo, I apologize. I did not realize how hectic this was, because people need to understand that, yes, you have a job, but after you finish that job, you also have a second job, which is your night shift when it comes to your studies. And if you don't put in the effort, if you don't plan, you will not make it. And I'm proud to say that I didn't fail any of my modules. I passed all my modules. I've done well. So that was all due to hard work and the support that I had in terms of the Milpark team and my family and colleagues.
Yeah, it's so important. I don't think we can overemphasize that support and that communication, and like what's coming in on the chats here about the open communication. It's vital, and sometimes it's difficult to kind of say to either your lecturer or to your program manager, or even if it comes through to me, to say, oh, I'm struggling this, because it's a personal thing. But that's what we want to do, we want you to be successful. That's our ultimate we want you to go out there and make a difference. So, but now tell me, so what are you doing? How are you managing in 2021 at the moment?
Whew, 2021, if I'm being honest, it's been a bit of a struggle. And I know when I say this, some people are going to be like, seriously, this is not a struggle. But the past 2 years, I've lived this hectic life. My life has been on a schedule. Now I've got all this free time and I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? So for me, it's been important for me to be able to use my time in a way that it benefits not just me, but everyone around me. And I think that is another thing that everybody needs to take into consideration about the MBA, that it's not just about you. Yes, it's about you at that point in time when you're doing the qualification, but when you get it, you need to use it to a point where you are adding value, not just to the organization you're working in or the business that you're starting, but the community at large. So on my personal time now, I'm reading books, which I haven't done for the past 4 years because I've been reading academic books, but now I'm reading for leisure just to grow and learn different things. But what I'm also actually embarking on is writing a financial literacy program that I would want to actually afford to the underprivileged people in South Africa. And I know that I've worked in the financial sector for 7 years now. And in my experience in moving along, I'm currently in the corporate and investment banking sector, but I started off in retail. And in my journey within the banking industry, I've noticed that, education does not mean financial literacy. I'd find that when I used to be a private banker, I'd be having a silly conversation with a medical doctor. Or the one that killed me the most was the conversation I had with a CEO who was paying, I think it was 81,000 Rand for a house, and it was only him and his wife and his 4-month-old baby. So you see, exactly, Dr. Asha, it was like, what is happening here? Because you'd expect that people with certain level of education or experience or knowledge would have certain skills, but it's not a given. So that is what I'm trying to actually achieve with the program that I'm writing, to try and make sure that I level the playing field, that I don't take it for granted that yes, you might be educated, but this skill in terms of financial literacy, knowing the uses and how important it is for you to be able to manage your money. And I think it's relevant right now in the current pandemic that we're in. A lot of people are getting that wake-up call in terms of how important it is to actually budget, how important it is to stick to that budget and live a certain lifestyle, and not try to live above, your means. So currently, that is what I'm actually doing. And what I'm actually hoping, and praying for is that I offer this service, free of charge, in a way that the reason why I would want that, it's because I feel that I would reach more people in that approach than for me to actually do it to gain any form of funds in terms of a profit-making business. So that's what I'm currently busy with on a personal level.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. And wow, that just makes me so proud. Wow, I think that's wonderful, because it is such a need. And I think, it always has been, but I think it's exacerbated now, where people really need to start understanding things. So thank you so much. We are going to definitely be calling you back again, and maybe also putting you in touch with other prospective students who want a bit more insight or help. It's nice to, and what we found is you guys as alumni give such value back to our new students coming in, and we really appreciate that you would take the time to do that. And for today, it's really so appreciated. And I know we've had technical problems, so it's great that we got you on. And
yay!
So all the best with that. Let us know how you're going, and if we can actually help you in any way with that, let us know. But we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much. Great stuff. So now, what I do want to say to you. So if you've got any other questions, if you want a one-on-one meeting, obviously at the moment it would be online, and that's probably the safest at this time, but we can set up meetings with Noni. She'll advise you on what needs to happen. We can send you a prospectus. We've also got a really, really nice webinar series. It's on whistleblowing, and we've got nice topical relevant things that we discuss. So if you want that, also let us know about that, because you can be invited. And you might have something that you want us to have a webinar on, so also let us know that. So I'm going to ask Michaela if we've had any nice responses, juicy responses from our main meter. Yay.
We have. So let me quickly bring back Corbus as well. Give me a second. Wow, Nonjabula's story was so inspiring. Just hearing her talk about what she's up to, and amazing. So I'm always blown away, and I'm such a privilege. I get to see what the people afterwards, and then I get to interact with them. So that's incredible.
No, she's amazing.
Okay, so let me know if you can see.
I can see what leadership. Okay, adapting to major change. Yep, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am just checking. Is Quibus, are you there?
Oh, Quibus.
He said he was having a bit of connection issues this morning.
Yeah.
So sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are aware. I will try reconnecting with him shortly.
Okay. So I'm going to just make a few comments on some of the things that have come through here. And I think these are really important aspects that you've looked at. So the first one, in terms of adapting to major change at short notice, that is happening to us on an ongoing weekly basis. When we hear that the president is going to speak, I'm not sure about other people, but I get a bit nervous what is going to happen, and then it did happen. So we're back in lockdown. And then how do you deal with that? Because things are shifting again. So I think that is one of the things that we need to take into account. And students also get that. We've got a few on our postgrad where we've got your set things, and then we throw curveballs at you. And so you've got to relook at, because that happens often at work. Things happen, and that's the same thing here. So I think that point is a great point, especially now, and I think going into the future. And then the other area about multitasking, and I'd like to ask Kubus what he thinks about this. Multitasking, we're doing it all the time because we've got however many screens you're using at a time. I know that Kubus has got about 3 or 4 and laptops, and how do we do that where we actually maintain focus and do good work, because we've got all these things coming at us. So multitasking is necessary, but how do we manage that? And Kubus, what are your thoughts on how do we hone a skill such as multitasking? Especially,
Jen, you and I have. Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. Jen, you and I have journeyed for more than a decade, and I think you've come to know me very well, and my personal view on that particular one, namely multitasking. And perhaps, this is just a personal view. Number one is I don't think, and there's research that supports this view. I remember a Harvard Business School, a Harvard Business Review article of around 2015, around about there, that spoke about why do your top performers underperform. And this particular study was about what they called overloading, system overloading, too much going on up here in the mind. So number one is my personal view again here, and we can really talk about this further. I don't think we were necessarily designed, or we're not designed to multitask in order to achieve optimal outcomes. So what am I saying here? I think if I know that it's multisensory, we're picking up many things from many places at the same time, and that you have a multiple of things to do on the to-do list. On the one end, you're busy with something, your phone rings, or there's something on Teams message coming through, or there's a mail popping in. But I think we need to hone more the skill of, let me rather call it prioritizing to, not everything that it is important is urgent, and not everything that is urgent is important, and making that distinction. My personal view is to take the important thing, deal with it, finish it, get it out of the way. I know I'm talking here about an ideal world, but talking with many people, especially now since March of 2020, in the context we find ourselves in, is that the ability to focus is becoming rather challenging because of the multiple channels through which information is coming at one. So Jenny, I think it's more about rather the ability to manage all this multiple streams of information that's flowing into one's life, because many people are talking about being overstimulated, and they feel that they're not achieving goals and due dates as was set, because of doing something a little bit, something here, something there, something there, So that's just a personal view.
No,
so I don't know what your views are, and maybe that links back as well, to adapting. That one, with everything in my being, agree with that. Even my own research also highlights that particular one, the adaptive intelligence, because of the speed with which things are changing and our ability to adapt. Now, as humans, we are adaptable beings. Think for yourself here. When this all started out, specifically now looking at the pandemic period in March of last year, where you are now at, and some of the new skills that you have acquired with technology and doing things online and the ability to work. So, generally speaking, and I'm generalizing now, because we have to also understand the multiple challenges in different strata of our society, but to adapt. And now I think from a leadership and a management practice perspective, that is so important, especially when you have to lead people and they're looking up to you for guidance as to, okay, so what next? And I know this word is frequently used, that of pivot, from the entrepreneurship world, the ability to change direction if need be, the flexibility and so forth. The old adage that says it takes 21 days to learn a new habit, and 90 days, for it to become a way of life. Now, in a sense, our way of doing things now is also, and we've adapted to that. But that is a skill that really needs honing in the current times that we're living, finding ourselves in, and as we journey into the future. And that again, maybe, as I said, linked up with the multitasking, because of the multiple things, all the variables that's out there. I was saying to someone, when I was a youngster at school, we used to play this computer game called Asteroids, where you had this little triangle in the middle of the screen, and all these asteroids would come in from all sides, and you're in the center, and you're spinning this thing around, and you're shooting this, and as you shoot an asteroid, it breaks up into smaller pieces even, and they just keep coming. So yes, absolutely, that the ability to adapt, or what I just call adaptive intelligence, So absolutely, Jane, agree with you on that.
Yeah. And I think with that,
Sorry,
we've got
a lot now.
Yeah, no, but we've got nice themes here. The multitasking, being authentic and adapting, and then understanding people, being empathetic. So I think as a leader or as a person, the multitasking, maybe we need to also reframe as to we've got a lot of tasks, but we don't have to be doing them simultaneously. Perhaps we need to start building in our boundaries and just say, listen, this is me. So being authentic, this is what I'm doing now, and communicate. I'm busy with this thing now, and so you try and put together a bit of structure there, and then because that's another way of adapting. So I know that women are supposedly able to multitask way better than men, but I do agree. Then you become fractured, and you don't have the focus, and then that feeling is I've got this. So I think they relate very well together, and I think we need to start rethinking the multitasking thing. I also like the comment on making good decisions based on skills, not only learned but practiced. And I think that leads back to what you were saying about practicing.
Yes.
New learned skills.
Absolutely, Jen. The Romans taught their children that nothing could be learned whilst sitting down. It's when you immerse yourself into the real thing, where when you apply and you practice. And of course, in the beginning you make mistakes, but the making of the mistakes is part of the process of learning, eh? So, and I think if you now think about the one on the left that talks about knowing the business from the start to the end, there's exactly and linking this to making good decisions, practical decisions within the business context, having an appreciation, Jane, on the top one there of the empathetic part of it. What is the role of business in society? That as well, not only the hard stuff. I mean, you spoke about the soft skills earlier. It's not just about finance, marketing, operations, IT, etc., etc. The role of business in society, and that the leader has that ingrained, or part of the business's DNA as well. And the business is in itself a system. But it's part of a larger social system. So, and the ability, and again, it comes to and all of these things wonderfully link up with one another. The ability to connect the dots in this larger ecosystem, and that's why people do the MBA, is to get that strategic generalist knowledge and ability to apply, to practice that. As you said there, the business from start to end. And so if you talk about start to end, we actually talk about from start up, right, to maturity and further growth and so forth. But it's wonderful talking about these things. And then in relation to that, those, those good business decisions, Jan, I don't know if I know you will agree with me, but based on the skills, not only learn but practice. But if you take the top one and kind of dovetail it with it, the understanding of people, the empathy, being empathetic. I mean, that management 101 simply says it's getting things done through people. But by goodness, your understanding of people and being empathetic is therefore so important in order to achieve the organization's objectives, whether it's for profit or a non-profit or whatever. Yes, and again, sorry, I'm just looking at the other wonderful contribution there of being authentic. So and this is what we aspire for with in our programs, the MBA, the postgraduate diploma, and really exposing students to hone those skills and competencies further in all of this that has been said. Thank you, Jane. I'm doing too much talking here now.
No, not at all. I like that. And yeah, I think the last comment that came up here, and I think this is also extremely important, the ability to rely on the intellectual horsepower of your team. That is imperative, because the way to do things is to use your team to do it, because hopefully that they're diverse, and they will definitely have different skill sets. So I think one of the big things that we need to do and need to get people to understand is you don't have to do everything yourself. You need to rely on other people. It might be not exactly the way you might do it, but you know what? Gets the job done. So let's do that. Let's get people empowered. Get them confident to start doing things in the team, and motivate them and harness that power. And I think you do that well. So, but it makes a difference for the team to know that they are trusted and that they can do things. So I don't know your ideas on that, but for me, that is a really, really important part of being, and when I talk about a leader, I'm talking about each one of us. Whether you're leading people or you're not leading people, you're still leading yourself, and you're working with people and interacting with them. So I don't know your thoughts on that comment as well.
Yes, Jane, I absolutely concur with what you've said. And as I said earlier on, achieving objectives through people, and it might sound getting it done through them, initially that you're using them. That's not what is implied. If exactly what you said here, and I'm not making these distinctions that you often find in some articles of the difference between managers and leaders. It's more about being a manager leader, but the ability to really draw on the team. And there's sometimes you find in organizations as well, when senior management now goes off-site for a strategic session or whatever, and comes back after a few days at a lodge of sorts, and then they come back with this wonderfully crafted strategy, and then just hand it over to be implemented and so forth. Whereas there's so much potential innovation that's right through the organization. I mean, I know it's sometimes difficult because of the various sizes of organizations to really get everybody involved with their input, but I think that's something that one needs to aspire to. So the beauty of what I see on what has been shared here with us is that the humanness of this all, and someone recently as well, with all this new developments in tech and whatever else, that's something that we must be cautious not to lose. Is that and that understanding, if I may, that I am because you are. So even in the organization, it's not about me; it's about we, and it's what we achieve. And when the leader can acknowledge that he or she is standing on the shoulders of giants, giving credit to the people that's creating the wealth, that's helping to sustain this company or business. So absolutely, Jane, you spot on with that. And I think within that, that's where the authenticity also comes through. So I very much like, and this thinking of what I see here is so aligned with our own thinking in what we set out to do this in creating this learning environment for our students. So thank you, Jane. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few thoughts here.
No, that's great. And thanks for everybody for those wonderful answers and thoughts that you came up with. It's really valuable for us, and I think specifically where for good in South Africa for 2021 in our two-dimensional world that we're living in, to keep the humanness, to keep the empathy and the authenticity is really what we need to do. So, Kobus, I'm going to hand over to you for the last chat on choices about, and then to close off the session.
Okay. Jane, thank you very much. Allow me quickly, I just have to give a special welcome to David Maparisa, who I also saw is in this session. David graduated from Milpark with an MBA in 2012 already, way back. He's a very senior person in corporate, very successful, and it's really, David, just I want to speak it, not only type it in, but it's really awesome to have you here this morning as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate your attendance here. Colleagues, let me round off here why we think you should really consider us as your partner in this journey that you anticipate of further growth, further development in your own life. Well, in the first stage, and now I'm bragging again, but the only online Amber accredited MBA in Africa. That's something that we're really proud of. Our ranking with the PMR Africa rankings, and I must also add, in our executive education, we also had the first overall position in South Africa with the PMR Africa ranking with executive education specifically. We would argue that our programs are contemporary and they're relevant. They apply to the times we find ourselves in. Our facilitators, or lecturers, if you want to call them that, they are all experienced from industry. So it's not someone who's just been in academia. It's people who come from the trenches, if I may use that expression, that draw that experiences into the classroom, and the ability to get the experiences of the class to also create this, like social constructivism, co-creating solutions that we can all benefit from. And then we endeavor to create a learning environment that promotes really growth-producing experiences for our students that impacts all three modes of learning. By that I mean cognitively, emotionally, and physically. So the head, the heart, and the hands need to be involved. And they might ask, but how can my hands get involved? I'm not using a tool or anything to that effect. But when you immerse into a problem-solving scenario, and Nonjabulo explained earlier on as well and shared on how that has shifted, our own skill and ability in that dimension has shifted because you've been immersed into something very close to the real world, or if you to apply and practice. And then lastly, colleagues, we as a team believe that the student is the focus for us in this teaching and learning transaction. We are here because of our students. It's not the other way around. So I really thank you for the time you've devoted to us. It was such a pleasure to engage with you, and I trust that you've been provided with the information, for you to also consider and to make an informed and an educated decision. Thank you so much. And remember, tomorrow is beautiful. Take care of yourself, and see you when I see you.